You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Well, good morning, good morning. We talked the whole night through. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Do.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey.
You usually don't add that. That's great. We're getting into it. Get in the spirit.
All right.
Well, hey, welcome to the Bible Guys. We are starting off with a segment that has a jingle.
Oh,
It
yes.
is our only segment that we get to sing, and it's
This is such a good one too, and
Yeah.
it might be our best jingle.
Yes, and here it is. We are going to be doing mailbags.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
which we stole from Blue's Clues.
This is it was super sophisticated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're trying to model our show after only the finest programming.
Yes.
And so Blue's Clues is right at the top of our viewing lists. So
That's Blue.
yes. So, anyways, hey, this is a great one.
Yes.
We have so many card and letter that have come into our mailbags, and email and text have come in. So this is a message from Christina M. And she says, hi. Well, first of all, hi, Christina M.
Hi, Christina M.
We can't miss saying hi.
Thank you for writing
Christina.
in.
I know, this is amazing.
We do appreciate anybody who writes in and pays attention
And
to
I'm
us.
telling you, she has, I think, a great thought here.
Yeah.
And
I
it says,
just now looked at this. This
what's
is really
your
funny.
go-to karaoke song, and can you give us a preview?
Oh, geez.
And then she gets really honest, and she says, I'm just trying to get Chris to sing some more. Ha-ha.
Oh, well, then it's appropriate that I started with good morning.
There you go. You sang good morning.
There you
so
go.
I'm just going to come out and say I have never, ever, one time in my life done karaoke.
What?
I know. So
Actually, I knew that.
So I have no go-to song.
But even though I knew that, I still say, what?
I know. What? It's the back of the throat what, not just a regular what.
It's a whisper.
This is a serious
This is
what.
a whisper what.
That's right. So there's the what, and there's the what, and then there's the what.
By the way, how could you... How's that possible? How could you've never been to a party or a gathering?
I never have. I don't get invited
That's not
to
true.
parties. People,
That's not true.
People are like, that's a boring guy.
Listen,
So I've never been karaoke anywhere.
Let me
I've
ask
never
you
been
this
anywhere where
question.
they're
I'm
doing
going to ask you a
karaoke.
serious question, Jeff.
I leave when karaoke starts.
Stop.
I do.
Stop. Listen, I'm going to ask you a serious question.
Okay.
And this is true.
Mm-hmm.
This is you have to be truthful. Have you ever been in a situation where someone, whether it was even at a church, whatever, where there was karaoke and you had a choice whether to volunteer to go up and sing karaoke or you had a choice to not to? Have you ever?
No.
Come on.
I've never been in a room. I've seen
wait,
it. I've seen it on TV shows where like they're in some kind of restaurant or a club or a bar or something, and there's a karaoke thing there, and people go up and they're singing.
So-
I've seen that. I've never had an opportunity where it was for me. I've been in places where we were eating and then
crazy.
karaoke started, and I got up and left. I was
Okay, all right. So you have then.
Well, no, not where it was an opportunity for me. It was I was eating here, didn't know karaoke was a thing here. It starts over there, and before the song's done, we've left.
What would you just like stop in the middle of your meal?
Yeah, we just But it's only been like once or twice. I'm not normally in places that host karaoke.
Hey, my steak
I'm gonna be
just
honest with you.
came. My steak just came, but they're singing, "Hurry,
Right.
run!"
I only eat at sophisticated restaurants.
ditch.
There are the kind of places you eat at versus the kind of places I eat at. Maybe are two different things. 'Cause,
Well, I grew up in pubs and truck stops.
Chez Prez doesn't have karaoke
Right,
on Tuesday
right.
nights. So maybe that.
Right.
Whereas, you hang out at truck stops and.
Well, that is, by the way, true.
Karaoke
That
bars.
is true. When I was in high school, this is totally off topic.
And there's nothing wrong with karaoke. I'm laughing about it.
We would go to truck stops and drink coffee. Even in high school, I would do stuff like that because you just sort of grew up around it and everything. Anyway, the point is that
It's hysterical. So I've never been around and never had the opportunity to do karaoke.
Okay,
and
then
I have so much anxiety about the idea.
Since we're going to wrap up this, we got to wrap it up.
You guys sing it.
I will give you a preview of what because I do have a go-to, believe it or not. Yes, of course. But I have to ask you this: if you did have a karaoke song, what would it be?
I've never contemplated this thought.
Well, I'm
before.
asking you to contemplate it now.
No, I don't have a go-to song.
I know,
don't know.
but just pick one.
You got to sing a song. And let me think about it while you're singing.
Okay, so anyway, here's mine.
Okay.
I would say I've done karaoke maybe, I don't know, not very many times, maybe 15.
Yes, 15 times too many.
Maybe 20, maybe at the max. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I always like the one that goes, I've got friends in low places.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because it says, what does it say? I have to have the lyrics in front of me, but in low places, that one right there. Yeah, because I like
you can
it.
do it.
I like it because it is. I'm a blue collar guy,
and it's a crowd favorite.
And I know it has the whole bar whiskey thing to it, right? But that's not the part that I necessarily cling to. I like the idea that what Garth Brooks. First of all, I love Garth Brooks, but Garth Brooks is saying. Is that he sort of puts
blue collar guy?
Yeah, he puts he snubs the people who snub him because
he snubs the people who don't eat at places that have karaoke.
right. Because he's a blue collar guy.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's why I like it, and I like it how at the end
that's hysterical.
There's guys that go yeehaw and the whole thing, and then usually the crowd joins in. Yeah. I've got friends, and then the whole crowd sings it.
Right.
So that's my go-to song.
That's great. I still don't know that I can think of a song I would try to sing. I'm having troubles.
Well, I bet you if you thought about it, there's an easy song, right? I mean, come on, who's like a pop song?
Happy birthday to you.
Oh my goodness gracious!
There you go. See, we got a little bit of. But she wanted to hear you sing. Do you see this? This isn't about what Jeff would sing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to draw a line in the sand on this episode and say, I'm just trying to get Chris to sing more.
Okay. So I looked
she would rather have you.
Lyrics.
She would rather have you sing your A and B go-to songs than to hear me sing any songs. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So I looked up the lyrics. It starts off and it goes, "Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots." I'm laughing when I'm singing it.
Oh, no.
And ruined your black tie affair.
Yes.
The last one to know. The last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there.
Okay.
And I saw the surprise and the fear in your eyes.
I am so sorry, listeners.
Of champagne.
I'm so sorry, listeners.
Anyway, that's it.
I'm pretty sure you sing too many more words and we're going to have to pay royalties on this. You know that, right?
Oh, really? that might be a thing. That might be a thing. Okay, let's move on. All right.
Okay.
So that's it.
Well, hey, Christina M., thanks for bringing that up. It let Chris just, just indulge in all the glory of that one. And if this podcast gets shut down, well, it might be your fault. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
Because we're going to be broke. We get sued for Zarbaugh singing all the words.
So we're really meaning thanks, Christina M.
Thanks. Okay. Well, good. Did you get that out of your system?
Yes.
Okay.
I had nothing in my system, Jeff. I'm just trying to play along. I was asked this. This was forced upon me. This wasn't my choice.
Okay. So, man alive, there is just no way to even pivot from
No, not
this.
really. Especially since, Absalom gets reconciled to David. Yeah, you're right. There's no
Blame
transition.
it all on his roots.
Yeah, there's no transition.
Yes. So, David brings Absalom back into town. If you've missed any of these other episodes, you should go back and kind of catch up on the Absalom stuff here. But they were separated because Absalom had killed Amnon. Finally, Joab convinces David to bring Absalom back, and so he brings him back, but he won't see him. He refuses to even look at his face.
Right.
And so then in 2 Samuel chapter 14, verse 25, we'll pick up there. It says, "Now Absalom was praised as the most handsome man in all Israel. He was flawless from head to foot. He cut his hair only once a year, and then only because it was so heavy. When he weighed it out, it came to 5 pounds. He had 3 sons and 1 daughter. His daughter's name was Tamar, and she was very beautiful. Absalom lived in Jerusalem for 2 years, but he never got to see the king. And then Absalom sent for Joab to ask him to intercede for him, but Joab refused to come. Absalom sent for him a second time, but again Joab refused to come. So Absalom said to his servants, 'Go and set fire to Joab's barley field, the field next to mine.' And so they set his field on fire as Absalom had commanded. Then Joab came to Absalom at his house and demanded, 'Why did your servant set my field on fire?' Absalom replied, 'Because I wanted you to ask the king why he brought me back from Geshur if he didn't intend to see me. I might as well have stayed there. Let me see the king. If he finds me guilty of anything, then let him kill me.' So Joab told the king what Absalom had said, and then at last David summoned Absalom, who came and bowed low before the king, and the king kissed him." Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. And again, it doesn't give us a lot of insight about truly what David is feeling and thinking and why he basically shunned his son. Obviously, he's angry. Obviously, he didn't approve of what he did. But again, I have a tendency to believe, I really do. I have a tendency to believe that David wants to avoid it all because inside he knows he set this in motion. I really do. I think that inside he has so much turmoil stacked upon the ruinous set of events that have happened in his children's lives because he knows this was him all along. So I just have a feeling he didn't want to deal with it. And every time people wanted to talk about it or bring it up, he's just like, I don't want to deal with it. So what is it easier to do? It's easier to throw yourself into other things.
Stick your head in the sand.
Stick your head in the sand, Hey, let me just spend all my energy being king. As long as I know that my son Absalom is safe. Hey, I brought him home, didn't I?
Yeah.
He's over there. I gave him a house next to Joab's, which means obviously he's being treated well.
He's living in a nice neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And so, hey, that's enough.
He's got everything he needs. Just leave me alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I honestly, and again, it's just interesting to me how there's really not that much insight. It doesn't say, because the Bible will tell us, Absalom was angry or David was angry. David was jealous. David was, sad, whatever. But there's no insight whatsoever. We just know that he refused to see him. And I have to believe there's inner turmoil going on in David's life about himself.
Yeah.
But poor Absalom. So Absalom he's so desperate that he doesn't get any, he gets this refusal, he gets this shun. And by the way, keep this in mind. That's a public shun.
Yes. Everybody sees it.
Everybody sees it.
Because the king would have spent all of his time. The crown prince would have been with him all the time.
Yes.
Everybody knows.
Which means like now Absalom is, his disgrace is being, amplified. It's public.
Yeah.
And he's so desperate. And Joab doesn't know how to deal with it. Joab's done all the things that he could do. Hey, he brought him back, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he sets fire to Joab's field. And he's why did you do this?
He's so petulant, right?
Yes,
He's so,
yes. And by the way, you know what? Let's not look over the fact that his hair weighed 5 pounds. You know what that deserves?
Once a year.
You know what that deserves?
What's that?
What?
A throaty what?
Right.
Not a what?
Because 5 pounds. Think about the biggest haircut you've ever seen. If you've ever had a child donate their hair.
Troy Polamalu.
What?
The guy who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers that had the long hair that hung out of his
wow,
helmet.
that's a throwback.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
He's on the Head and Shoulders commercials.
The old ones.
Still now. He was on last season.
Was he?
Yeah. It was him and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah. Anyways,
the
point
5 pounds of hair.
The point is I've seen girls donate their hair to
a hair donating place.
Yeah, come on, it's love locks.
Oh yeah.
Locks of love.
Yeah.
Locks of love.
What a great
it's locks of love.
Yeah.
And what they do is they have to grow over 12 inches. You donate it, and then they use real hair to make wigs for those child cancer patients.
Yeah.
Right.
What a great
locks
thing.
of love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I know that people actually they grow their hair specifically just for locks of love.
My daughter did that.
Did she really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, good for her. Good for her. Anyway, when you take all that hair and that's what they do. They weigh it. It's like an eighth of a pound.
Right.
Right?
5 pounds.
5 pounds.
He only cut his hair because it was too heavy.
Well, I think first of all, if I had 5 pounds on my head, that would hurt. Mm-hmm. Right?
Well, that would have meant he'd have a really thick neck.
That's
why he's so handsome.
I almost wonder sometimes, the Bible is pretty specific. If the Bible says 5 pounds, it means 5 pounds, right?
That's correct.
So I almost wonder, did that include the beads?
I don't know.
Maybe they had beads in there.
It weighed 200 shekels.
Right. There had to be beads in there.
2.3 kilograms.
Because it allows for that.
Yes.
It allows for hair decorative things.
Sure. Maybe. Yeah.
Because,
So
otherwise you're Rapunzel.
That's right.
Right?
It's down to his ankles. Yeah. That might be. I don't know. So yesterday, remember we struggled.
Crystal Gale.
For our listeners. Yeah. No, yesterday we struggled to remember the name of the person who was allowed to get vengeance for the family.
Yeah, you looked it up?
No, I did not.
You remembered it?
Yes, I did.
What is it?
Now, for our listeners, that was 24 hours ago.
It's not Revenge
For you
Getter?
and me, it was 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, it was not Revenge Getter?
Yes. No, it's not.
Okay.
It's the Blood Avenger.
That's closer than I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So the Blood Avenger. So if a family member was killed and there was no local justice available, then the family could choose one. It's not the whole thing. It's not a big posse going out, for vigilantism.
Yeah.
It was one Blood Avenger could go and bring vengeance against this person who murdered the other person. So Absalom probably was choosing that kind of loophole to give himself permission to kill Amnon, even though there was government in his town, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what he was doing. He's justifying, hey, our law allows this. And this one of the reasons why I think David doesn't kill Absalom then is kind of within our culture. There's this thing, this blood avenger. And that's what he did. And that was a big part, I believe, you can know that was a big part of Absalom's sense of justice, because the Bible mentions that he has a daughter and he named her Tamar.
Which is wonderful.
Which is the name of his sister, who was abused by Amnon.
Which shows his love for his sister.
That's right. And it shows his elevated sense of justice. Here's a young man who has a strong sense of what is right and wrong, and he's missing out on David being a mentor to guide that strong sense of justice. He has an opportunity. David has an opportunity to nudge his son towards God, to lead his son, the future king, to God, to develop the relationship that David had with God, to really lean into the laws and the words of God, which, by the way, God says to Joshua, it's meditating on my laws day and night that will make you a success. David's success was directly connected to that same thing. David knows these things, and he just keeps Absalom away. Yes, you can come home thinking that Absalom's motivation for wanting to come home was just to live in luxury again. Well, got news for you, David. He was already living in a king's house. His grandfather's also a king.
Right.
In another kingdom.
Yeah, smaller.
Right. But still, it's not like he was starving.
Right. Well,
right?
I mean, there's a sense of when you're raised by a king, whether it's a large kingdom or small, you still have importance. People are treating you with respect. There's still things to model. There's still things to teach. And by the way, another lesson hidden in here is that even though that Absalom is a grown man and has, sons and a daughter and a house up for himself, that you never stop being a parent.
That's right.
You never stop being a role model. Right. And in this case,
your job changes, your role changes.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it's more peer to peer. But David, understand that David has the role of father, but also of king, and also of mentor. So he's wearing all these different hats for Absalom, and he refuses to do any of them. Right. And so it's just a challenge to us, no matter how, what age you are, it's never too late to fulfill the roles, no matter how old your kids are.
That's right.
You still look to them. By the way, you want some insight as to how my brain works?
Yes.
You want some?
I don't know. Do we?
Not
we
really.
should pull the listeners before this comes
up. Not really. Because I'm going to tell you that even though I'm trying to think of all these godly sermons that come out of this passage, I can't get over the term blood avenger, as I love Marvel movies, and I'm thinking the Avengers. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, a blood avenger could be a character. And if an Avenger...
The blood avenger.
Yeah, if an Avenger joined, who would be the blood avenger? And I thought, well, who else is in the Marvel universe, which was the first Marvel movie really that was ever popular, which was Blade. He was a vampire.
Uh-huh.
He would be the blood avenger. So if Captain America would invite Wesley Snipes in to join the Avengers, he would be the blood avenger. Okay, that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so it's in your head now. You got that out of your system.
I got that out of my system.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to say.
So now back to the Bible.
Back to the Bible.
Okay.
Sorry.
Back to the Bible.
Yes.
Hey, we should call our show that.
Back to the Bible.
There was a show called that.
Back to the Future.
No, there was a old radio show that had thousands of episodes called Back to the Bible.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Oh, is it the idea that we've strayed from the Bible and our generation should go back to the Bible?
It was a Bible teaching radio program back in the day.
Like Focus on the Family? Yeah. Like, let's put all the focus back on the family.
I think out of Back to the Bible came, do you know the little devotional books, Our Daily Bread?
Of course.
Yeah. So that's where it came from. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, here's this guy who has so many gifts, Absalom. He has his dad's gifts. He's handsome. That's what this highlighted thing about his hair and how tough he was, and everybody thought he was so great. And every young leader who has a lot of gifts needs to also be aware. So Absalom needed this too, to be aware you need good mentors in your life.
Right.
You need people to help guide you, because otherwise what happens is you become really great at what your strengths are. But the greater, and you and I have talked about this, every genius has an equal and opposite corresponding deficit.
Yes.
Because you and I, the way we're built, we only see 180 degrees. We can't see all the way around. Mm-hmm. And so we've got a genius that's out here. He clearly is wired to be a leader of people. People just flock to Absalom. Even generals who see the danger of Absalom go, we should bring him back. And let's just see if we can't make him a better guy, right?
Yeah.
That's what's happening. The people love Absalom, everything. And Absalom is starting to be aware of, wow, these people really like me.
Yeah.
My dad's kind of a jerk. So instead of his dad pulling him in, his dad pushes him away. And so what happens is he starts to lean into his talents without building the character around him or a group of counselors around him that can point out his blind spots. And so nobody is telling Absalom about his blind spots because everybody's so enamored with his hair, his looks, his ability to communicate and all these kinds of things. And so the trouble just keeps coming. Finally, too late in the game, David comes to Absalom and kisses him. That, though, was the beginning of an opportunity, but David still doesn't seize the opportunity, and we're going to see the consequences of that tomorrow.
Yeah, and again, it's interesting how it doesn't give us any insight because it doesn't say during these 2 years Absalom had built up a rage that's going to turn into rebellion. It doesn't say that. But later on in the story, we realize oh yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? Mm-hmm. So these 2 years were very painful.
Yes,
there was a lot of bitterness, there was a lot of rage, there was a lot of hatred, there was a lot of, and probably because just like we said, David could have handled it differently. Yeah. He could have, at least paid attention. I mean, he's so desperate. He says, "I would rather him just kill me than ignore me." Right.
That's what he says.
So put him in front of me, and fine. If he passes judgment, and he finds me guilty, then have him kill me. But anything is better than being in the kingdom, being publicly shunned, and then not to mention the father wound that comes from David reacting this way. So and by the way, it does not say that David kissed him with affection.
No.
Right? It says he went, he kissed him, but did he go through the motions? Was it
half-hearted?
Was it half-hearted? Was it cold? Yeah. Was it, basically out of, what kings should do, or what is it, what expect? So again, it's one of those things where we're sort of left to connect the dots, but it's not hard to figure out because of what happens.
Right.
What is about to unfold, we could probably read between the lines.
So when there's greatness in front of us, and clearly Absalom had no other kings to look up to. It was either his dad or Saul.
Right.
And my dad is amazing. When Absalom was a boy, his dad was a giant killer. His dad was the one who unified Israel. His dad was great. And then when Amnon is dead, at this point, he has a strong sense of justice. He kills Amnon. Now he's the heir to the throne. Even then, as a young man, he's probably looking at his dad going, boy, those are going to be some big boots to fill.
Sure.
And then he comes to this point where his dad will not mentor him, will not encourage him, will not challenge him. And so at this point now, either he was going to grow up to try to fulfill the responsibility of the family. If David had raised him and mentored him, he would have had this obligation and responsibility to represent his father and his family well as the next king. Or David left Absalom with what Absalom felt was the only other option, that is to challenge my dad. Right? And I'm going to have to square off with him. I'm going to have to take it because my dad is not who I thought he was. Right. And this is what's going to happen. Tomorrow we're going to get into, a full-blown coup by Absalom.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
This
was all avoidable, 100% avoidable.
What?
Yes. That's your new thing.
Yeah, maybe so.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time, hopefully on the Bible Guys.